Let's bring back handwriting. That's what the title says, but what do I actually mean? Now, when I say let's bring back handwriting, I'm not just saying let's all try and make our handwriting look a little more pretty and better. What I really mean is bringing the act of handwriting back as an essential skill for everyone. But I mean, like, why though? I mean, can't we all just send a text or an email? I mean, we can even all video call or FaceTime each other. But I argue that all those things are missing one thing: the human soul. Now, stay with me. I am absolutely sure that almost all of you watching this video have misinterpreted a text, or someone has misinterpreted yours, or even over a phone or video call, that feeling of another human is across from you is just not there. At least, not in the way that it is when you are hanging out with someone in real life. Now, this isn't to say that texting or calling is a bad thing, or that we should get rid of both of them and go back to sending messages by pigeon, but what I mean is, I think it would do humanity good to rekindle or revive the act of handwriting our thoughts, feelings, and words. And before I give you any examples of expressing thoughts, feelings, and words via your hand, I think discussing a little bit of the history of handwriting ought to be good for you to understand where I'm coming from. Before the age of the internet, where you can communicate to almost anyone across the globe in basically an instant, the people's main form of correspondence were letters. There are many, and I mean many, periods and cultures in history where there are intricate and deep etiquette like nuances in handwritten correspondence. That was a mouthful. Mouthful. But for the sake of this video, I will focus on the Regency era of handwriting. The Regency era took place between the years of 1811 through to roughly 1820 in the nation of Great Britain, primarily within England. It was during this time that the culture surrounding handwritten letters truly, in my opinion at least in the Western world, was at its peak. Evidently, there were no phones, no gaming consoles, no video games, actually just like nothing in today's world to pass the time the way we do nowadays. But there were people. And as humans, we're social animals, so of course, we want to communicate. And here are where letters come in. I think to better illustrate this, I think it'd be better to follow a certain someone, a lady that lived during that time. She goes by the name of Jane Austen. If you haven't heard of her, she authored like 6 novels, 2 of them being absolute bestsellers, classics that have stood the test of time. Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility. Those were the 2 books, but we're not going to get into them. But we will look at is the letters that she wrote. Much of her letters were her talking to her sister Cassandra, and what you will begin to realize after reading them is that we haven't really changed all too much in those hundreds of years. I mean, for example, Jane and Cassandra would often gossip about neighbors who wore ugly caps at some function, or they would talk about how one of them had flirted with a boy that day. I mean, look, these are basically the same things people talk about nowadays. But like I said, the medium, the form, the way we gave these little stories is now different. Back then, within that era, within that place, there were a plethora of rules that you had to follow in order to maintain letter writing etiquette, unquote. I mean, for example, if your handwriting wasn't neat, it was illegible, the line spacing was inconsistent, the script or style of handwriting was also inconsistent, that would come off as extremely disrespectful, like leaving someone on red nowadays or being dry. It would be disrespectful both to the recipient, suggesting you didn't value them enough to take your time in making it look pretty, and to yourself, because to them it comes off as being uneducated or even, and I quote, poorly bred. Yeah. There were plenty of other quirks during that time. I mean, quirks that governed which color ink to use, what kind of paper for what occasion, and so on. It's a lot. The point all of that was trying to make was through ink or graphite, paper, and your time and effort, people could feel the energy from the page. They could feel your character from the page. I think a better way to put this is done beautifully by an excerpt from the Spencerian Compendium. It's basically a book outlining how to write in that style. It goes like this. Writing, like spelling, reading, and calculations, is a requirement of everyday life. All such things should be specially well done. The pen, after all, is the mouthpiece of the correspondent. I mean, right there, mouthpiece, correspondent. I mean, it's true. The way you write your letters, the way you, not autofill, not your phone's keyboard, the way you form your sentences is just that. It's you. Only you can write how you write. Same as how only you can speak like you speak. But why is that good? Why does that matter? Because it matters because all of us yearn for connection, like real connection, not the kind that hides behind emojis or that hides behind sent TikToks or reels or replies to messages with just the letter K. But a connection where one person takes the time out of their day to slow down in this fast-paced world and sit and write by hand, by pen and paper, their own stories, their own gossips about their own neighbors, how they flirted with someone that day, or simply how they feel about the recipient. And on the other hand, the recipient gets to experience the joy of sitting in silence and reading, seeing and hearing and experiencing your voice, your words, through paper. I mean, look, no one's saying give up TikTok, text, FaceTime, or messages, but I am saying send a letter. Next time a birthday rolls around, put in a little extra effort into a letter and watch how the person reacts, because I can almost guarantee they will value that infinitely more than a text, no matter how long the text is. If you, say, have a partner, and if expressing your love to them is difficult by voice, then write it. Hide it somewhere for them to find, and I'm sure they will love and adore it. If you do anything this year, why don't you bring back handwriting?